Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah, this morning I can continue with making this video on the title of religion and belief. For a few days already I had a break because of rain that make me unable to come to this place to make my video. So this morning the weather was good. It's cloudy but it's not raining, so that enabled me to come here and make this video. Alhamdulillah. So the reason of me making this video, keep saying that it is important that we talk on this subject. When we talk on this subject, we think over it, and when we think over it, it gets into our mind, because the title is on religion and belief. Your subject will be subjected to the judgment from our Creator, and Allah had revealed that I will send down my guidance to mankind. Whoever follow my guidance will not feel worry and do not feel sad, meaning that we had the assurance from our Creator that if we follow His guidance, we live happily in the next world and no need to worry about we'll be sent to hell, because it's assurance that if we follow and obey what had been instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us, then we'll be happy in the next world. But if we got our belief wrong, then we judge unfavorably, meaning that we will not get tickets to go to paradise. Allah will send the people who got wrong belief and doing wrong on this earth to hell. So that is clear thing that is being stated in the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've seen that in the Koran. I've seen that as well in the Gospel of Barnabas. It's very clear. So why not we take care of living in this world, because before we were not around. We didn't exist before. We only exist only few years back. In my case, I'm 67, so 70 years ago I didn't exist. So our Creator make me, so the reason I live in this world, I have to look for the reason why I live in this world. Allah had also revealed in the Quran that I created man to serve me. So if we fail to serve him, then it's obvious that he would send us to hell. He had created hell and he had created paradise. So the purpose of hell is to punish, and the purpose of paradise is to reward. It's very simple. It is very obvious. Okay, brothers and sisters, so normally I talk on the subject we see in this world. This morning, what I've seen in the YouTube, and that interests me, still the Taliban. The story of Taliban in Afghanistan. I've seen the YouTube, and I know there are people who don't like Taliban, and there are people who like Taliban. So who like the Taliban? Most people who like the Taliban are people who are good Muslim, because Taliban uphold the Sharia law, and people who don't like Taliban, at the same time they don't like Sharia law to be in this world. So they want to eliminate, if they can eliminate Sharia law in this world. So you can see that most people who don't like Taliban are the non-Muslims, but there are also countries that are interested to work with the Taliban. Is more for business and other interests other than religion. That is business, the raw material they have, maybe the feeling of comfort they have with Taliban, because Taliban surprisingly can defeat the superpower. They had defeated the Russian, they had defeated the American. That is amazing to people. Okay, what I want to talk on the Taliban is the propaganda they make, especially on their stance on women. The Western people, Western country, many don't recognize Taliban because they don't take women in their cabinet, maybe, and they were criticizing that treating of women is bad in Taliban. And why Taliban don't take women in the cabinet? Taliban came up with a simple answer that women and men cannot work together in ruling. And the Taliban was saying that there are many other jobs that women can do. Women can become doctors, women can become nurse, women can also work in the airport as the people who communicate with the pilots of the plane. I've seen the video that the woman who had worked in the airport been called back to work in the airport. So there are many opportunities for the women as well in Taliban. They can become teachers, lecturers in university, doctors, of course nurses. So why these Western people worry that they are not in the cabinet? So very simple answer given by the Taliban that women and men cannot work together. That is a good answer to me, and it's true. Because if you see what had been done before during Prophet time, no woman, Prophet don't have woman to advise him in the ruling. Prophet was always surrounded by his friends, we call Sahaba, and they can give advice to the prophets. But no woman had been given advice to the prophets on matter of ruling. So Taliban continue with that tradition that no woman in the cabinet. The woman actually were also fighting with the prophets during Prophet's time. I've seen that, I've heard that, I read that women were also fighters, fighting alongside with the prophets in a battle. So I don't know whether the Taliban had women fighters as well. That I don't know, but I have not heard of Taliban women also fighting. Okay, that is the side story of Taliban. What else? The loyalty in Taliban. Okay. Other people, the non-Muslim, think that the loyalty is based on tribes. So if this tribe not happy, there are so many tribes in Afghanistan. So they were saying, if this tribe not happy and there will be a division, they will express their frustration if a tribe is not presented in the ruling circle. That's what they say. It's by tribes, but it's not true. It's more on belief. There are people in the Northern Alliance Army that may believe in Sharia law. So sure, these people are supporting Taliban. There are also people in Northern Alliance. Soldiers don't believe in Sharia. So these people would not support the Taliban and become loyal to the North Alliance. Why I say it's belief? Because during Prophet time, father and son had sword fighting. The son, a Muslim, being a Muslim, and the father wasn't, so they were fighting. It's not a tribe, but it's the family. Because of the belief is different. So I believe the division in Afghanistan is not by tribe, it's by the belief. But the video I've seen, they were saying by the tribe. But I also heard that the Taliban denied by tribe. And the Taliban knows better than what the message we get from these people making the video of the tribes. So that is interesting, and the evidence was there. It's the belief that make people together, is not the tribes. Okay, brothers and sisters, maybe we go back to what we're supposed to do, that is reading the Koran. Let me see what I have read before. See the marking. Smoke. Okay, this is not smoke. I've read this one. Smoke. So we should be reading. Let's see whether this smoke. No, we should be reading page 104. So to get the barakah of this morning, I'd like to read the first sentence in Arabic. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa inna awhayna ilayka ma awhayna ila Nuhin wan nabiyyin min ba'dih wa awhayna ila Ibrahim wa Ismaila wa Ishaq Yaqub wal asbati wa Isa wa Ayyubi wa Yunus wa Harun wa Sulaiman wa atayna Dawuda Zabur. Sadaqallahul Azim. So brothers and sisters, let's read the meaning of the sentences on this page. Verily, we send down to you revelation, Muhammad, as we send down revelation to Noah and the prophets after him. We send down revelation to Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub, and their descendant Isa, or Jesus, Ayub, Yunus, Harun, and Sulaiman. And we have given the book of Zabur to David, or Daud. Next. And there are among the prophets, we inform you about them. Before that, there are prophets that we have not informed anything about them to you. And to Moses, Allah had revealed to him his ayat directly. So it's known that Moses had talked to Allah directly. The prophets are the people who brought in good news and giving warning to the human being, and there is no reason for mankind to go against Allah and His messengers that Allah had sent down. Allah is powerful and wise. So meaning there is no reason for mankind to go against. So here there is a hidden meaning that one that go against would be punished. But then Allah become the witness to the Quran that had been revealed to Muhammad. Allah had sent down knowledge, and the angel is also the witness. Suffice is Allah as the witness. Verily, the unbelievers and people who is trying to stop people from going in the way of Allah, they are truly gone astray, far, far away, deviated. So next sentence, verily the unbelievers and their doing or being cruel, Allah then will not forgive them. And will not show them the way that is straight, except the way that is going to hell of Jahannam, and they will be there forever. That kind of decision is easy. That kind of doing is easy for Allah. Meaning that it's also easy for Allah to send mankind to hell. It's nothing difficult. It's just like the flip of the finger. Hell, paradise, hell, paradise. So it's just like flipping this finger like that. O mankind, verily, after the prophets or messenger had come to you, bringing to you the truth from your Lord, then believe him is better for you. But if you don't believe, then that things will not make it a loss to Allah, even a little. Verily, to Allah belong the heaven and the earth. Allah is all-knowing and wise. So it's very clear that it's hell and paradise, punishment or reward. It's nothing difficult for Allah to send a man to hell. It's just like flipping a finger. That's it. But if the person believe and obey, Allah would send him to paradise. It's black and white, mentioned in the Quran. So that complete my reading of the Quran. So now let me read the Gospel of Barnabas. So where are we now? Okay, let me see the marking. So I will know only by the marking. Okay, so this is the last mark. So we should be reading chapter 116. So the recap, what we had read before is the city is a place, a lot of sin and temptation in the city compared to living in the outskirts or away from the city. It's also mentioned here. We've seen that even nowadays, what we found in the city is place for entertainment, club, drinking place, all this place of sin, like maybe massage parlor with women working, mostly in the cities. Discotheque, thing like that, in the cities. Okay, now on the Gospel of Barnabas, we shall be reading chapter 116. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It behoved a man to live in the city. So still talking about the city. Even as the soldiers live when he has enemies around fortress, defending himself against every assault and always fearing treachery on the part of the citizen. Even so, I say, let him repel every outward enticement of sin, yes, enticement of sin, and fear of the sense, because it has supreme desire for things impure. So fear of sin. Sin here in Arabic is desire, nafs. But how shall he defend himself if he bridle not the eyes, which in the origin of every carnal sin, as God live, in whose present my soul stand? He who has not bodily eyes is secure not to receive punishment, save only to the 3rd degree, while that had I received it to the 7th degree. So the sin caused by eyes, yes, mentioned. In the time of the prophet Elijah, It came to pass that Elijah, seeing a blind man weeping, a man of good life, asked him, saying, Why weeps you, O brother? The blind man answered, I weep because I cannot see Elijah, the prophet, the only one of God. Then Elijah rebuked him, saying, Cease from weeping, O man, for in weeping thou sins. So, weeping can be a sin as well. It's mentioned here. The blind man answered, Now tell me, is it a sin to see a holy prophet of God that raised the dead and makes the fire to come down from heaven? Elijah answered, Thou speak not the truth, for Elijah is not able to do anything all that you says, because he is a man as thou art. For all the men in the world cannot make to make one fly to be born, said the blind man. Thou sayest this, O man, because Elijah must have rebuked thee for some sin of thine, wherefore thou hatest him. Elijah answered, May it please God that you be speaking the truth, because, O brother, if I shall hate Elijah, I should love God, and the more I should hate Elijah, the more I should love God. Whereupon was the blind man greatly angered and said, As God liveth, thou art an envious fellow. Can God then be loved while one hates the prophets of God? Begone forthwith, for I shall not listen to thee any longer. Elijah answered, Brother, now mayest you see with thine intellect how evil is bodily seeing, for thou desirest sight to see Elijah and Hadijah with thy soul, and hatest Elijah with thy soul. The blind man answered, Now be gone, for thou art devil, that would make sin against the only one of God. Then Elijah gave aside and said with tears, Thou hast spoken the truth, O brother, for my flesh, which desires to see the separate thee from God. Said the blind man, I do not wish to see thee, nay, if I had my eyes, I would choose them as not to see thee. Then said Elijah, No, brother, that I am Elijah. The blind man answered, Thou speak not the truth. Then said the disciple of Elijah, Brother, he verily is the prophet of God, Elijah. Let him tell me, said the blind man, if he be the prophet, what seed I am, and how I become blind. So, that's it. So, seeing and having sight can be a disadvantage, is seen in this story, in this part of the Gospel of Barnabas, because we live in the temporary world, so there is next world is more permanent. So we are struggling to get the reward for the next world. So this world is only temporary. So the meaning of that chapter is that go for permanent happiness. Sight can be a disadvantage to a man. So let's complete my reading talk on the Gospel of Barnabas. Thank you very much for listening.